Okay. What is up? What is up, guys? Apologies on the lateness, man. 1 minute, but if you're not early, you're not on time. That's how it goes. So let me check here, see how we're looking on things. 2 seconds. Let us see here. Make sure we're coming in clear and we're connected everywhere. Hope you guys are doing well tonight, man. We're going to get into some great topics tonight. Okay. All right. So it looks like we're having a little bit of trouble with Instagram here. Okay. Says we're live. I am not seeing it on my end. Huh. Ah, there we go. So it looks like we are. Okay. There we go. All right. And it looks like we are live there. What is up? What is up, Instagram? Hey, man, hope you guys are doing well. Hey, we will have our co-host Edmund chiming in here pretty soon. You know, life happens, man. You got stuff going on. Especially you dads know that stuff happens, bro, and you gotta pick up where you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do. Kids come first. Family comes first. That's rule number one. With anything we do, family comes first. So, he's he's dealing with he's picking up JJ and taking care of some stuff, man. Doing the dad thing. Super proud of him. And yeah, okay. So we got that going. Let's see where we're at on the old Facebook. Okay, looks like we're live there too. Sweet. And YouTube. How we're looking. So how you guys doing, man? While we're chopping it up, getting into this whole thing. I'm in the. What does that say? I'm in the live. You can add me now. Okay, he's about to chime in here in just a second. Let me see. Make sure he's got everything he needs on that. Email him real quick. Like I said, guys, sometimes you gotta get it how you live, man. We're all about that hustle, about that action. Okay, cool. Got that sent over. So yeah, guys. So what we're going over today is going to be basically talking about how we as men are going to move forward in 2025. The moves we're going to make, the things we're going to do, the challenges we're going to face moving forward. And the challenges, they are, I'm not going to say there are many, but there are some. Okay. Been having a lot of conversations with guys regarding just moving forward in their lives and what they plan on doing with their lives and how they plan on changing their lives moving forward. A lot of people aren't satisfied with where they are right now, and that's a major thing. It's one of those things that we definitely got to address and something we got to deal with as men, and we got to pick up the ball and we got to run with it. So, like I said, what we're talking about is the Warrior 2.0 and how men can, in 2025, elevate their life and change their future. What is up?
Yo, what's going on?
What up, man? How goes it?
I tell you what's not going, man. It's the traffic on the way back home.
Yeah, yeah. If anything's not going in town, it's definitely that.
Yeah, man. I had a work meeting that ran long, so then I had to run out to go get some groceries for what we're making tonight, and then had to go get JJ. And then it's like traffic all the way through. So I took the tolls all the way, which anybody who lives in Colorado knows that those add up real quick. 'Cause I've been taking the tolls like every other day to get to where I need to get and do my whole thing. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, man, all is good, and you'll see him at some point. My wife is feeding him right now, so when she gets done with that and has to go back to what she's doing, he'll be in here with us. So that's how we're rocking today.
Gotcha, gotcha. Cool. Yes, I was just breaking down to him kind of what we're going to be covering today. Talking about us as men moving forward in
Yeah,
2025 and how we need to move and what we need to address. Because we're definitely finding that
here we go.
guys are struggling. Just to be real, I've had a few conversations over the last couple of days where guys are struggling, but they also feel that they need to make that change. They feel
Right.
that needs to happen. It's become very obvious for a lot of us that we cannot continue into 2025 how we were rocking in 2024. It's very apparent.
Mhm.
I mean, you and I had that conversation earlier today.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's all very timely. No matter what
So
stage of the game you're at, there's always somewhere else to get to, so another place to level up to.
definitely, definitely for sure. Let me cut my light on real quick and we'll get this going.
For sure.
Uh,
And while you're doing that, shout out to our friend Cali, Texas 1112. He's hopped in our lives a couple of times as far as like being in there as a viewer, and I believe that's one of our brothers from the circle. So shout out to you, man. Glad you were able to join us today.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. So one topic that I've been getting into and that, like I said, you and I talked about earlier today is drifting.
Yeah,
It's a big thing for not just men, but people in general, just drifting in life. What would you describe to everybody as what drifting is?
man. So there's a book that I'm reading right now called "The Value of Others" by Dr. Orion Taraban, and he
Mm,
puts it actually very beautifully. It's a great book. I would highly suggest people go pick it up. But it talks about like the value of others, and in that relationship of like trying to be for a man to be his own captain, and what
mhm.
does that entail? So if you're comparing life to being on the high seas or being a captain of a ship, it's what do you need to do to get the qualifications to be a captain or just a leader of your own life, building your own ship and making sure you plot your course so that you're going where you said you're going to go. You have a map to where you're trying to go to, right? And drifting is a perfect analogy to kind of go hand in hand with that, because drifting is the act of basically kind of just flowing through life. You don't really have a direction. You don't have
Mm,
a set course that you're trying to do, no goals that you're trying to achieve, and you're just kind of, maybe you're partying all the time, or you're neglecting your work, whether it be school, corporate, whatever. You're just not on path. You're not
yeah.
allowing yourself to maximize your potential.
Mm,
So
definitely.
I would say that you know don't drift, set sail. You know what I mean? Like if you're able to
So we're
sail
we're,
to where
drop,
you're
we're just
trying
gonna
to.
drop bars this early in the stream, huh? We're
Yes,
just, we're just
yes,
gonna be
sir.
dropping bars
Yeah.
this early. Okay, I see you. I see
don't
you.
don't
Okay.
drift. Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, man, don't drift, set sail. So that's what we're trying to do in our own way is, by building that capable, honorable warrior, whether it's in or outside of the arena.
Hmm.
You don't want to drift from whatever path you're trying to get to. You need to sail there, which means
Yeah,
you have some type of direction.
definitely for sure. A big thing with drifting that I find is distraction. It's a huge thing when it comes to drifting, is giving, not just distraction, giving into distraction.
Right.
Like you said, whether it be, doing something other than what you need to do, basically. It's like, and that could be, you need to be working on that project for work, but instead you're watching a full season of Netflix. You're supposed to be working out, but instead you decide to go Cheesecake Factory with your girl. It's
I like Cheesecake Factory now.
I, yeah, but that's great, but not while you're supposed to be working out.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Fair enough.
You're supposed to be, working on that business idea, trying to bring that up into life, but yet instead you decide to just say fuck it and just go hop on the hub.
Yeah,
A lot of these things become distractions because we. Give me one sec here.
sure.
Yeah, a lot of these things become distraction because we give into them. It's one thing if something comes and like distracts you, like for instance you running into traffic became a distraction, but that wasn't something you're like, hey, I'm driving on a clear road, you know what I decided to do? It looks like there's a bunch of people there, I'm going to go over here where everybody else is. That's intentional.
Right.
and
Right. What
that's
y'all doing?
and, and that's what we do in our life. It's like that's we go from when we're on track, and a lot of times we end up doing that because we end up hitting something called the upper limit problem. It's something I think
Mhm.
we've talked about in previous podcasts, and something I talk to guys all the time about, is like when we're has anybody had that moment? I know I'm not the only one who's had that moment where like you're doing the work, you're working out, you got everything on point, you got it, you feel like you got everything dialed in. You're working out like you need to. You're seeing results, or you're starting to see results. Your work life is good. You're having fun on the side and different things like that. But you feel like you're on task, and you feel like you're on path. You just feel dialed in, and all of a sudden
Mhm.
things, you're like, man, everything's going, real good, man. It's like, yeah, man, my work is good. I'm making money. I'm getting out of, maybe I'm not in debt, or I'm getting out of debt. My body's looking good. I'm eating right. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
It's like, ooh, hi, big booty Judy. Hi, how are you doing? Next thing you know, you're just off and you're distracted now.
Right.
So one minute you were completely dialed in, and all of a sudden you start feeling too good. It's like, man, things are
Mhm.
going, things, or you getting that thought like, man, everything's going so well. I wonder what's going to go wrong. And a
Mm.
lot of guys have had that experience. Like, it's like, yeah, things might be going too well right now. That's
Right.
that upper limit problem. We all have that thermometer of good that we think we deserve to feel, or that we should feel. And when you start passing that, man, a lot of times, if we can do it subconsciously. Sometimes some of us do it, on purpose. Do something to bring ourselves back down, either to that level or below that level, because this is what we think we deserve. If you're right here, a lot of times we self sabotage in a lot of different
Right.
ways, and drifting is a major one to do that.
Mhm.
You know.
Absolutely. It's kind of like the best example that I have was me being in traffic on the way here.
Hmm.
Like I left like perfect. I left the house a little after 5, and
Okay.
then got back to the house before 5. So like I said, I had to go to the store, I had to go get the kid, all that stuff. And because I was taking the tollways, which is basically the expressway, you kind of, if you think about it, everybody who's stuck in traffic, that's kind of just how life is. Most people are stuck in a place where they feel like they can't move, they feel gridlocked, and they're just surrounded by other people who are in the same situation. Everybody wants to move forward, but for whatever reason you can't. So if you're able to get your mindset in the expressway, you actually get to your destination a lot faster, even faster than you think, or the people around you think you're going to get there. And it's gonna maybe cost you a little bit of money, for the tolls. It's like $2-3 depending on where you're going, to get there and back. Sometimes it's going to take a little bit more effort, or gas, or whatever that thing is that you want to call it drives you. It
Hmm.
takes time, it takes effort, it takes patience to be able to maneuver into that space where you can actually move with a bit more freedom. So, we talk about quantum leaping sometimes. Like sometimes
Yep.
that expressway is the quantum leap that you're looking for. And all you have to do is start to maneuver into that area that will allow you to do so. But so sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you're in the
Hmm.
slow lane trying to get to the fast lane, like probably most people, because everybody wants to do things quick and easy.
Yeah.
But sometimes it takes that patience of, okay, I'm in this lane, let me move over to this middle lane, let me move over to this slightly faster lane, and then eventually you get over there and then you're taking off. So by not drifting, you allow yourself the forward movement or the forethought in order to get to that express lane so that you can do what you actually want to do. So yeah, pulling off of the road or pulling into the slow lane is gonna slow you down, and some people want to do that.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm beating this analogy over the head,
A little
but
bit,
a
just
little
a little
bit.
bit.
Okay.
I was
So
just
so
thinking.
yeah.
I was like, we are gonna beat this analogy to death by the end of the
Yeah,
stream.
no, 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 no. Sorry, yeah. So, but no, no, no. Allowing yourself the time
Yeah.
to figure out, like we say, who you are, where you're going, and what you
Mhm.
actually want to do with your life will help you set that path so that you can actually get to where you're trying to get to ultimately.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's one of those things too. I think the first thing is recognizing that you're doing it.
Hmm.
It's that's one of the things Dr. Gay Hendricks talks about in his book, The Big Leap, is
Okay.
once you recognize that you're doing that you hit your upper limit, you're starting to sabotage. Because when you start, like I said, if you've been working out consistently for, let's say, 6 months, and then all of a sudden you start, kind of drifting off, and all of a sudden okay, I've been working out 5 days a week for 6 months now, and then all of a sudden something happens and you're only working out 2 days a week, or you
Hmm.
find that you find that that's gradually before you can get to two, you go from five, then it's four, then it's three. Once you hit that three, you realize, okay, something's going on. Because
Yeah.
I was consistently making it 5 days a week. What's changed? Has my work schedule changed? Nah, that hasn't changed. That's the same. Am I more stressed out than I was before? No, not really. It's like, is something else changed in my life recently? Am I having family issues? Is the relationship issues going on? What is happening, and what's changed that now I'm drifting off? I'm allowing myself to drift off now, and recognizing that, okay, maybe did I start feeling too good about this, and why am I allowing myself to slack, and really just stop that, pump your brakes, and really just stop and really assess, like, okay, what's going on with this, and why am I making this decision? Because something's wrong. Obviously something's
Hmm.
wrong. Something major has changed. I need to figure out what that is so I can get back on path on what I was doing and hitting my goals. Because if I don't do that, it's just going to progress. It's not going to all of a sudden just 1 minute you're doing it 2 days a week and then you're back up to six. I mean, 5 days.
Yeah.
That's rare for guys to do. Most of us, a lot
Hmm.
of us don't have that discipline or that willpower to do a lot of that. A lot of times you just almost have to reset. Next, 6 months has passed and you got to start all over again.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
where I am now. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like I was so used to at the beginning of, well, all through last year, I was hitting that 4, 5 times a week,
Hmm.
and here recently I've been getting like maybe two. And it,
Yeah.
fatherhood and all that aside, like that's not how I operate. Like if I'm not working out 3 times a week, I feel uncomfortable. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? So it's and people act like they don't recognize that nagging feeling of something is wrong, but
Yeah.
they choose not to address it because whatever vice that you want to get to, or whatever, putting yourself around more people makes it
Hmm.
so that you can't sit down and recognize, be that self-awareness and figure out what that issue actually is.
Yeah.
Some people don't want to sit with themselves, but that's what it takes, is that isolation to be able to recognize in your own mind what is actually going on and make those proper adjustments.
For sure, man. And I think you said some key, man, was the vices. Vices get, especially us guys, man. The vices get us every single. If there is a trap for men,
Mm-hmm.
it is the vices. It's like that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing that makes us fall in. I think I heard somebody say there's a few ways to knock a king off his throne. Is like a lot of times it's power, it's women, or it's usually power and women. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
so it's power, women, or praise.
Mm-hmm.
A
Mm.
guy feeling powerful, getting, you can either tempt him with power, you can either tempt him with women or sex, or you can tempt him with praise and stroke his ego.
Right.
So you either make, give him an important job, or it's something that seems important. Get you get the kingdom harlot after him. It doesn't even have to be a harlot. It could just be, a
Right.
fake booty and a smile.
Right.
For a lot of us, or you tell him he's the best man ever, and just keep telling him that. And then
Mm.
usually those are the three ways that men, get really knocked off their square, as we say.
Which isn't really fair, because a lot of those things that make us feel good and will kind of make us get off path are the
Hmm.
things that we need the most just to survive as a man. Like a lot of men aren't getting any type of praise, which is why they go off and do the things that they do and put themselves into vices. Not saying that they should be overdoing it and getting gold stars and clapping every time you breathe, but it's just it's that you need to have some type of purpose for one. So like you said, the power thing. So like you need a man needs to have some type of job that makes him feel good about himself and taking care of his community or at least his family or himself, whatever that it is. But if
Mhm.
he's not getting praise for working as hard as he should be for whatever that job is, he feels undervalued and not able to, like, why am I even doing this? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like he's gonna even further dip into those vices because he's not receiving that love and attention that he should get. And I'm not even saying like it should be like over the top, but something
Yeah.
is more important than nothing. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be a king, if you're going to be the ruler of whatever your domain is, then you should be properly compensated for that, but not
Mhm.
overly so.
Yeah, I think the big thing is that if we don't set that up for ourselves, then the world can take advantage of those chinks in our armor. If you, like I said, if you don't find a purpose for yourself, the world will find a purpose for you. And
Right.
it probably won't be the one you want
Right.
at the end of the day. But if you don't find it, somebody else will. And same thing with the praise. It's like if you don't surround yourself with people or yourself and give yourself praise, but also give yourself constructive criticism. Those are the two things.
Right.
Because there
Right.
has to be a balance when it comes to that. Because a guy who only gets praise ends up being a dictator. It's like
Right.
so. So you have
Right.
to have that constructive criticism there to balance that out. And as far as the women thing is, um, having an idea of what that actually looks like for you. Because not just any woman, if we're going with the king, scenario, not any woman should just be allowed into your kingdom.
Right.
Like I said, not everyone with a big butt and a smile should have access to your world.
Mhm.
You have to vet her to see if she's even worthy of coming into your world. See if what does she bring to you? What does she add to your life? Does she help your life? Is she a multiplier or is she a divider in your world?
Right.
Because a lot of
Right.
people, and not just women, just people in general, will suck the energy right out of you, especially when you find yourself on purpose and going towards a big goal. That's when that's when the wolves show up. To just be real
Right.
about it, that's when the wolves can show up. That's when you really gotta you almost have to have your guard up in those moments, because if people see you doing the thing, that's why you see so many movies with like usually they're like rom-coms or something like that, but you always see these movies of like a billionaire guy pretending to be broke because he
Yeah.
wants to find out if a woman actually loves him for him, or she loves him for his money. That's a real
Mhm.
thing, because he's trying to find out, is like, hey, what are you here for? Are you here because if I show you everything I got, I don't know if you're here for me or for that. So I need to find out. So that's what we have to vet beforehand. Anybody and everybody we have in our lives, that includes family at the same time, which is a hard thing to
Mhm.
do for especially a lot of guys, I think, because we're trained to kind of put ourselves. And I think all of this is hard for us because a lot of times we're trained to put ourselves last. We're trying to put family first, work first, this first, and us last at the end. And that's a equation for destruction at the end of the day.
One of the things that we kind of talk about in the circle is like the hierarchy,
Mm-hmm.
God, mission, self, then family, friends, whatever, and just kind of on down the line. And one thing that I always thought that was very interesting about that is that, like, even at my highest point, like we said, we need to have that balance of it's not about me necessarily, but I still have my place. Is
Mm-hmm.
that even in that hierarchy, I come third. You know what I mean? So like my mission has to take precedence because that mission doesn't get done unless it's coming through me. And that's what we talk about, that purpose, finding out what it is that you're here to do and how can you best serve not only yourself but the people around you, because
Mm-hmm.
it just kind of comes through you. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you get as a benefit is going to benefit you and your family, but you got to make sure that you're serving your purpose first.
Yep.
There's no there's no advance on something like that. You don't get the riches first, but then you serve your purpose because now you're all set up and nice and comfy. It's like, well, if you're comfy, why would you even want to go do that thing in the first place? Well, you got the
Yep.
end result first. you're not going to want to serve your purpose at that point. So you kind of have to go through the hard part of figuring out who you are and what you want to do before you get that benefit of it on the back end.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And what we're talking about is a big reason why we set up Warriors Way Home the way we set it up. We have some foundational principles that are, if you focus on these things, this is how you set yourself up to have a strong foundation to build your life upon. There are 5 of the initial principles that we talk about. So 5 focuses that we talk about I'm sorry, 4. Yeah, 4. So we have mastery, we have masculinity, we have entrepreneurship or intrapreneurship, and we have combat. If you focus on these 4 things in life as a man, a lot of times, man, if you just focus on those 4 things, in a lot of ways, your life is going to be much easier. Now, I say it's going to be easy, but it's going to be easier, because in each of those things, you start to tap into certain things as a man that that will project you forward in life. If you focus on mastery, that's going to be you trying to become the best version of yourself. That's you learning about who you are and why you're doing what you're doing. What we talk about, who are you, where are you going? That's part of the mastery thing. Who are you and where are you going? What are you focused on? When you focus and when you tune into that and figure that out, it becomes harder for life to knock you off path and you not notice it is the biggest thing. We have masculinity. Nowadays, a lot of guys are taught either one or 2 things. Either you need to be this super alpha Chad that, spends, 30 plates, dating 30 women or whatever it may be, has never cried in his life, only cries, tears of blood, shows no emotions and is, and the world can't fuck with and can't walk through any doors because his lats are so big that he has to turn sideways.
Right.
Or he's taught that, hey, that's anything that's masculine is toxic. And you shouldn't have any of these traits. And at the end of the day, honestly, you end up neutered as a man. So you're acting more like a woman than you are like a man. It's like, any aggression is toxic. The fact that you want to conquer 2025. Oh, that's toxic masculinity. How you can talk about conquering something? Men always want to conquer something. Hell yeah, we do. Yes, we want to conquer mountains and society.
Sorry.
And business. How do you think we got all this? How do you think if a man didn't want to conquer something, we wouldn't have the internet?
Right. If we were sitting on the couch, you'd be like, "Why don't you go do something?" You ever been on the couch, chilling, kind of like in some benign, blissful state, and then somebody walks over to you and say, "Hey, you ain't doing nothing," and for some reason they just want you to always be busy. So if we have to be busy, I might as well be conquering the planet as best as I can. You know what I mean? So
and I'm not just out here conquering for me. It's like you get a benefit from this too. It's
exactly.
like, so what are we talking about? It's like if I build something amazing, it's generally going to help other people. If I go and build a giant hospital, I'm helping other people, and it's gonna, it's not just okay. I can slap my name on it and all these good stuff. That's great, but it's also helping other people. Yeah. So that's tangent. But yeah, all these, they talk about all these things. All these different things are being protective. Being protective over women and family and these different things like that. Well, that's being toxic. Is so you want me to just let them die? Anyway, that's a whole thing. I don't understand that talking point whatsoever. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like I say on the channel, I don't believe there's toxic masculinity. I think there's just toxic people in this world, and that's male and female at the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, so we have mastery, masculinity, entrepreneurship or intrapreneurship. Those who either are working in a field and want to be the best in that field as they can and grow in that field, or you even if you're working in that, you want to start a business on the side and build that business and take advantage of something that you're passionate about and turn that from a passion into an actual viable business and take that, take that and build something with it and create legacy from it. When a guy has either one of these things, it's you move forward in life. Because if you're just working, let's say you're working at Burger King and you're on fries, but you can go to register, but you're like, nah, I'm just gonna stay back here on fries. It's like, why not become the best version of? Why not take advantage of that? Why not become the, go and learn the register, learn the other jobs, so that when it's needed, they're like, who we can depend on? Edmund. Is that,
Right.
we can depend on Travis, because they know each one of these jobs, because they, even if they didn't think they were going to do them, they learned them.
Yeah.
And then who the person they call when it's time. It's like, man, it's like, who are we going to make, our last assistant manager left, who are we going to make assistant manager? Well, who knows everything about how this place runs? Is it going to be the guy
Right.
that just stayed on fries, or is it going to be the guy who knows each and every one of these jobs, even though he doesn't do them?
Man, that's hilarious that that's the example that you use, because like I just keep thinking of Coming to America, where
Yeah.
he was like, "You see this? I'm washing lettuce. Next, I'm on fries, then the grill. In a year or two, I make assistant manager. Then the big
Yeah.
bucks start rolling in." But like, it's true.
Yeah.
That is entrepreneurship. Is getting used to or acclimating to everything that's around the thing that you do, even if it's like super simple. Because
Mhm.
like, yeah, I'm in healthcare now, and I'm working as
Yeah.
a program manager. I didn't start as a program manager. First, I had to
Mhm.
learn the programs. I had to learn how to be a manager. I had to learn how to be a leader. And guess
Yep.
what? When I went back to school for all that shit, I started on fries. This is
Mhm.
exactly the thing that we're talking about. Like, I was
Mhm.
taking out trash and cleaning out the grease traps and all that. That's not cool,
Yeah.
but it's a place to start. If you know that that's not the place that you want to be long term, then you learn the other things that you need to learn so that you can get to that point that you really want to be. If you want to be in management or whatever the ultimate thing is, it just takes
Mhm.
time.
Oh yeah.
Oh, hey, buddy. Hi.
What up, man? Making his
Hey,
YouTube
buddy.
debut.
Yeah. Look at that. So yeah, this is Edmund Lewis III.
There you go, JJ for short.
Yeah. JJ Junior Junior.
Junior.
Yeah, man. Let's get
Don't let him
at it.
fool you. He hated it when I started calling him that. When I first started calling him, he did not like it.
Huh? It's not burger. Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah, I thought it was a little weird at first. Kind of sounded hickish, but it grew on me. I was like, JJ, that sounds like the most hillbilly stuff, or Junior Junior, but it
Junior.
grew on me, so it's fine. Well, did
Yeah,
I tell you, like, they put that on his, when he was born, they put that on his
you did. You
name
did.
thing?
Because I was there when you told me that. I was like, yeah, that's how I win right there. Like,
Yeah.
I influence the world around me, sir.
Yeah. So, but
I
yeah,
bend the world. I bend the world to my will.
right. But yeah, it was because I told the doctors, and because it was like, what's his name? Like Edmund Lewis III, and it was like, what's his nickname? JJ. There's not a J in my name, and they were like, what? But it was so that alone was worth it. I was like, yeah, JJ's gonna stick.
Yeah,
But
forever.
yeah, man,
That's
it's yeah, entrepreneurship is definitely important because I think it gives you the skills to then become an entrepreneur. If you know
yeah.
how the business that you're currently in is run,
Mhm.
eventually, if you decide to run your own, you can do that. You have the skill
Yeah.
set that's built in.
If you look at a lot of franchises, if you look at from McDonald's to I think Chick-fil-A, you actually have to work in the business for like 5 years before you can even buy a franchise. So I don't
Yeah,
even think it's. I don't even think you. I could be mistaken, but I don't even think you can buy a franchise with some of these guys unless you've actually worked in a business with
yeah,
them. Doing the
yeah,
the fries and the assistant manager da 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 da. I don't think they allow you to do that because those who have done that know the in and out of it.
right,
Like the operations part, so then we can tell you, how to operate. Now we can show you how the business part of it. We can teach you that part. This part is the part you need to know how this runs, so you know when something's getting messed up. You know that guy's
right,
not actually doing his job like he needs to do it. And even if people don't want to become a full blown entrepreneur, a lot of times people just take their passion and have that side hustle. Maybe
mhm,
you're working at a bank as a teller, and you're working your way up in the branch, and you like to do photography on the side. Okay, how do you monetize that to where you're bringing in extra income so that you can actually build the life you want to? It doesn't have to
yeah,
necessarily be a full-time thing, but maybe you start doing wedding photography, or you start doing graduations or different things like that. You start little by little. You're doing a little bit of photography, and maybe you
yeah,
take it farther and step into that and grow it as a full-blown business, or maybe you just keep it as a side hustle that brings in extra income that's going to change your life and change your path. Maybe you're able to do more with your kids and your wife and your family. You're able to go on those vacations, and you can put a big savings aside, so that you have that fu money, so that when if stuff
yeah,
does go on at work to where it's like somebody's trying to take advantage of you in a situation, you can be like, no, you can stand on business at that point. You can't, you don't think in the back of your head, like, oh man, I can't lose this job, so I can't stick up for myself. Or I can't,
Right.
tell this person what I can't tell them what I really want to say about what's going on because I really need to keep this job and they might fire me if I say
Right.
something. If you
For
have
sure.
that stack behind you that's backing you up, you're like, no, it's like, I could find another job and I got savings that I don't have to worry about you. So it changes your world at that point when you start engaging with life, when you start really getting after it, when you start grinding, when you're hungry is basically what
Yeah.
we're saying. Whether it be in
Right.
your own business or in somebody else's business, stay hungry. Well, the minute you get satisfied is the minute you become stagnant.
Right. And that's something that I've tried to stay away from my entire life, is that stagnancy, because I
Mhm.
understood that. Um, I don't know if it's like that shark mentality where it's like you stop moving, you die,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And there,
Oh,
and to be
mhm.
fair, like of course I've had moments where I was stagnant, but
Mhm.
even if I was stagnant in one area, I tried to excel in another. Like I was thinking about, like we had our accidents,
Yeah.
respectively at the beginning of the year. Okay, so that obviously hampered the way that we're able to move our bodies physically. We have to go through rehab and all that stuff. But
Mhm.
look how much we were able to do with Warriors Way Home just by shifting our focus a little bit.
Mhm.
We now have a course that's out. We have the communities that are out, and please go check those out.
Yeah.
We've grown our YouTube. I think we've gained 20 followers just over the past couple of days.
Mhm.
And I checked out those numbers. So
We gained hundreds in that
by
time since the accident. We
this is
gained
true.
hundreds
This
of
is true.
we gained, what was it, like almost like 400 or something, 500 followers,
Yeah, it
something
was
something
like
along those lines.
200
Yeah, something
before
like
the
that.
end of quarter 2. It was like
Mhm. In
200,
like a
and
month,
now it's
in like yeah, it
December.
was like a
Yeah,
month we gained like 200 followers in like a month, which is,
yeah.
for some people that's like, oh, that's not that big. It's like, hey, bro, for what we were doing, it's like, hey, man, we're winning, bro. We're
Yeah.
up. You can't tell us
Nah,
nothing.
man. And it gave me that fire to make sure that even when I'm back where I want to be,
Hmm.
we keep that momentum going. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because now it's like, now it's real. Yeah, well,
Hmm.
it was real before, but like now it's like, oh, people are listening. People actually care about what we're talking about. And
Hmm.
even if you're not engaging as much, it's just the fact that you subscribe, which means you have access to us
Yeah.
whenever you want. So when you
Hmm.
start to feel like, man, what is my purpose in life? What am I gonna do with 2025? Well,
Hmm.
now you have a roadmap. You know that you need to have honorable masculinity. You need to make sure that you are clear about whatever your goals are. You
Yeah.
have respect for yourself. You have integrity.
Hmm.
You're honest about your progress.
Hmm.
All of the virtues that we talk about in the Bushido in the course. So I mean, this is no trifling thing. Everybody's
Yeah.
online, but that doesn't mean that everybody who's online is serving a purpose that is bigger than themselves. Some people just want to make you laugh. Some people actually want to give you some cool information.
Yeah.
But I think we're here to kind of fill in that gap between men who are like getting off of red pill
Hmm.
and are trying to figure out what the next step is. Like once you're done with all the women hating and all women, we barely even talk about women on this channel because
Yeah.
it is more. I think it's more important to worry about what you as a man are doing to attract these people. If you feel like all women ain't shit, well, it's probably something in you that is attracting these ain't shit women. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's something that you need to do, and I'm not saying that everything is your fault, but everything is
Yeah.
your fault.
Yeah, I was about to say,
No, like it's
it's like sorry, but not sorry. Yeah, it is your fault, bro.
yeah,
It is like it's
you know
like
what I mean.
the world,
Everything.
like I said, just like the world bends to your will. It's like so you attract what you give off, and that could be like I said, no good women, no good friends. Because a lot
Yeah,
of us have had homeboys who weren't about nothing. It's like,
yeah,
so you're complaining about this dude who's not about nothing. What does that make you?
exactly.
It's like if all your friends are not about nothing, then if you got four friends that aren't about nothing, you're the fifth.
Yeah. Was it that you're the sum of the five people you spend the most time with, which is
Exactly.
crazy because the people who I spend the most time with aren't even near me for real.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They're mentors or they're at least an hour away from me,
Yeah.
which makes it harder, But you still whoever you're spending the most time with at this point where we have the internet and everybody's online and I can
Hmm.
still call people from around the world and be like, hey, how you doing? Like shout out to our boy A Star. Like
Yeah. For sure.
he's in London and
Hmm.
I had a 2 hour
London
conversation
boy.
with him. That you know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
just the fact, and shout out to the circle too, because I mean, everybody is all around the world doing their own thing, but that's who I spend the most time with,
Hmm.
and
Because
that's the
because
most
they're all
positive
moving.
influence I have. Yeah.
they're all making moves. Yeah, they're all making moves. And since we brought it up, let's take a quick commercial break for to talk about the course. So
Sure.
we'll interrupt the stream a little bit and talk about the eight inner gates,
Hey.
our brand new course, basically designed to help you unleash the warrior, unleash the inner warrior, and unlock your success. Basically, what the
Mm-hmm.
course is designed to do is to help you set a foundation for your life moving forward, so that you can,
Yeah.
in your life, in your relationships, in your career or in your business, you can take it to the next level is the biggest thing, because most of us as men aren't giving the code book, when we're going through this thing. We're not given the tools to say, hey, this is how you move as a man. This is what you accept from the world. This is what you never accept from the world. This is what you should be expected of you, and this is how you move in the world.
Mm-hmm.
From posture, how you stand, how you greet another man, looking another man in the eyes. How do you build reputation? That's how you build reputation, whether in business or in personal life. Is like, you greeting somebody, the first thing they're going to remember about you, and probably maybe sometimes the last thing, is going to be their first interaction with you. You're building a relationship from that first moment. So whether you're coming in for a job interview, or you're coming in, or you're meeting a client for work, or you're meeting a new friend, that somebody's introducing you to, or you're meeting a woman at the bar, or at the at the gym, or whatever it may be. That first interaction is key, and how you act in that moment. If I'm meeting you like this, oh hey, how's it going, Edmund? How you doing? Good to meet you, bro. And I'm mumbling, and you can't hear me, and I'm not looking you in the eyes, and I got a weak handshake. I'm shaking your hand like this, and I never look at you. You're gonna be like, man,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, if the kind of guy you are, you're like, yeah, I might not rock with this guy that hard. It's like he seems like a good guy, but he's probably not gonna. This isn't probably gonna be a dude who's gonna be my inner circle. This is probably a
Right.
guy who might be able to get there, but he's probably gonna need to work on himself some. So I might, I might take you under my wing and everything, but you're not gonna be my inner circle off of that, because
Mm-hmm.
I see that I can't hold you in high regard because of the way you're
Yeah.
acting. It's like that just shows me a lot about you, that you don't hold yourself like the rest of the people I surround myself do, which is
Right.
fine. I'm not saying that you have to be there right now, but you really have to build yourself into that, because if you're not there right now, you definitely can get there. So that's what the program
Right.
is about working on those areas, working about the eight that we have. Honor, honesty, integrity. That's right, JJ. Integrity.
Integrity.
Integrity. Years. He's like, yeah, be honorable, man. Be honorable. Keep your head
Yeah.
up. Yeah. So honor, integrity, honesty, compassion. Help me out here, Edmund. What are the other ones?
Respect.
Respect,
Yeah. Sorry.
loyalty, and duty. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Man,
Give me a sec. Give me a sec. So sorry.
nah, you're good. Yeah. So loyalty and duty. I believe it was courage, of course, heroic
Yeah.
courage, and the last one is
So honor, integrity, respect, courage, compassion, honesty, and sincerity. The last one is duty and loyalty. Oh, self-control. Sorry,
self-control. That's what it was.
self-control. You
Because a
got that
man who's
self-control, ain't that right?
none whatsoever for right now.
None
But
whatsoever.
he's learning. He's learning. We're gonna put him on the course, and
That's why
he'll
he's
be
got
good.
me. It's
We're gonna
fine.
put him on the course.
Right.
He'll be good to go. He'll be good to go. Ain't that
Mm-hmm.
right? He's like, yeah, buy the course.
Right. By the course.
Yeah. So, but because a man who doesn't have, and the big one is that self control. Because a man without self control, who's not in control of himself, is really not a man to be trusted. That's the guy that will stab you in the back with before you know it. So that's why we really key on those things, because focusing on those areas, and we have a video for each one of those, getting into talking about the benefits of that, and how to actually achieve that in your life, and to actually build that in your life, those areas, because those areas become the foundation of anything that you do. Like I said, the integrity part, holding yourself in high regard, not just showing respect to others, but showing respect to yourself. That duty and loyalty, not just duty to the world, but also what's your duty to you. We talk about, Edmund did a kick-ass video about financial loyalty, and how to save $1,000 in emergency fund. Was it in 60 days? Was it
6 months, but it's kind
six
of
months?
it's like a bare minimum.
Yeah.
kind of thing. And
Hmm.
if we're accounting for inflation and all that, 1,500, 2,000, whatever, but it's just a place to get you started. So if you're
Yeah.
like, hey, if I can save $1,000, knock off some expenses that I don't need, and kind of
Hmm.
just get myself in better financial shape, if I can do that, I can save up whatever I want. You know what I mean? I
Oh yeah.
can get to my financial goals a bit easier.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
about setting good habits, you know.
That too. That too. So having those aspects, like I said, talking about that self control, we talk about um, how as a man you have to be in control of yourself. That you can't act in this world and have there's usually two different situations. There's an active effect and a passive effect, and you can't treat
Hmm.
these two scenarios the same. As if somebody trying to fight me at a concert versus somebody cutting me off in traffic don't require the same response from me. Okay,
Right.
it's two different responses, and I should know the difference, and I should be able to interact in those situations. And how do I interact in those situations? We cover that in a like a mini course in there that we talk about. Yeah, so we just really dug into the Bushido, which is an ancient teachings that's a lot in martial arts, talking about these different aspects that were learned by samurai and help them in their course of life, and what we've adapted to our own lives, and how what has got us to where we are, and what's going to get us even farther into the future with where we're going, because we have set it up to be the foundation. So we know when we're not in integrity with ourselves, when we're not, living up to, when we're not respecting ourselves or respecting other people, when we're not being honorable, because we're not perfect either. We have our moments, And then I talked about that this morning. It's like there's been times where I've not been the most honorable man, even in dealings with him. Is like, and I had to check myself on that. Is like,
Hmm.
it's like, hey, hey, bro, you gotta check yourself on this. You gotta, just because you're close to him doesn't mean you have to still be respectful in the things that you say and the way that you act. Is like,
Right.
and when I'm not in that way, and I'm not in alignment with that, I got to call myself out, and he calls me out too. That's how it has to be, and that's the same. It's the same with him. It goes back and forth. When we have those moments, we hold each other at a higher regard. That's right, JJ. You tell him. You
Sorry.
tell him. But yeah, you be respectful, be
getting
honorable, sir. Don't you
yeah,
talk to my daddy
getting
like
fired
that?
up over here.
Yes.
Send my
It's
bodyguard after
because
you,
I heard what
boy.
you said. I heard what you were saying earlier. I heard that. I heard. Don't make me come over there. It's like, I'm sorry, Jay. You don't need to beat me up, man. It's like we got our shit together, bro. We got our shit. But
That's all right.
but even
I'm gonna send
but
him your
even
way with a
knowing that.
blowout.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I know. But even knowing that, about ourselves, is like I had to know, okay, what is integrity for me? Is like I'm out of alignment with that right now by the way I'm interacting in some of my relationships. If I'm doing that, I need to adjust that. I need to make the adjustment. I need to bring that up and actually do what I need to do and step up as a man and own that and make those
Yeah.
changes and make those adjustments that I need to make. Because if I'm not being in integrity with other people and not being in alignment with other people, I'm probably not doing the same with myself. Is a big thing. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
So for me, man, it's that integrity is a huge piece because
yeah.
integrity is that thing that nobody can see
Mm,
when you're alone. You know what I'm
yes.
saying? It's like how do you have personal integrity when a lot of people let a lot of things slide because
Yes.
nobody's around to see it,
Hmm.
but they still have that shame or guilt or whatever feeling that they get when they're doing something that's not
Hmm.
on when they're doing something that's not on path. And
Yep.
it's like, well, you're the one that's watching you always.
Yep.
You are always the one that is, in the mirror and can see the dirt that you do.
Hmm.
And it's the
Or
same thing. You know what I
or
mean?
they see
Yep.
it and they don't say anything about it, which is not me
Right.
being loyal to you.
Right.
If I see you messing up and I don't say anything to you, I'm not a friend. I'm not a friend to you. I'm not being loyal
Hmm.
to you. If I see a guy who I know is recovering alcoholic, and I see him at a bar, and I just see I see him at the bar, and I'm just like, oh, he's having a drink. He's like, that's his decision.
Right.
If he wants to, I'm like, no, 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 hey, bro, hey, man, it's like,
Yeah.
what are you doing here? It's like that better be soda in your cup. Is like,
Right.
because we've had a long conversations about this, that this is not where you want to be. This is not the life you want to live. Now, what you choose to do after
Right.
that, if you tell me, hey, screw off and da 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 da, then you choose to destroy your life. Hey, I tried. That's on you at that point. Is like, but
Yeah.
I still have to bring that to you. I still be like, hey, bro, this is me being loyal to you. This is me having integrity with myself and not letting this slide. Because if I say I care about you, if I say I'm friends with you,
Yeah.
then I might just headbutt you in the face. Like just
Yeah, look, he keeps me accountable, bro. Because
yeah,
he,
exactly. And that's the
anytime
thing.
I'm
Yep.
on my phone, he's like, "Hey,
Hmm.
listen, look at me." I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, "Okay, jeez."
So that's a piece of it. It's like, because if I see you moving recklessly and I don't say anything and you end up crashing, I can be just held just as much responsible as you can. If
All
I
right,
see you're drunk and you decide you want to go drive and I don't take your keys, I'm just as responsible for whatever happens after you leave as you are.
right, right. So like, when you go through the course, the thing that I love about it is that it's not necessarily tied to you have to be you have to have honor first and then you all the way down to self-control. You can kind of start wherever you're comfortable with because
Hmm.
you have access to all of those gates all at the same time. But then there's enough in there for you to work your way through it and have like actual metrics that you can
Yep.
follow. In corporate, they call it key performance indicators. Like how well
Hmm.
are you actually doing in all of these spaces?
Yep.
So like what I love about the honor piece is that we have the penalty box and
Yep.
we have the cookie jar or the honor jar, so that
Hmm.
you can actually see like, hey, this is not something that's here for you to just big up yourself anytime that you do something right. If you
Yep.
don't hold yourself to those standards, there's a penalty to that, and you're
Hmm.
going to have to log it the same way you log all of your wins. But it's to keep you humble. It's because that you understand, like, hey, just because you go through this thing doesn't mean that you're done, because
Yeah.
you're always going to have to tap into your honor, your integrity, your self-respect, and self-control and things like that. Because as you can see, you got people that come up behind you that are going to be watching your every move to be
Facts.
able to be like, is your son going to be able to say like, my dad was an honorable man? I can say that. I
Hmm.
appreciate that. I can say that. Not everybody can. So it's like, hey, what are you actually trying to build? And if you don't know who you are, here's 8 different places where you can start. Not one, here's 8 with actual measurable results, so
Hmm.
that you can say at the end of the project or at the end of the thing, you can say, wow, I now know what it is to have honorable masculinity. I now know what it's
Hmm.
like to have a sense of personal integrity. I now know what it's like to be able to have some type of emotional regulation so that I can move throughout this world,
Yep.
who with the vast majority, if we're being completely honest, people who don't have those things.
Yeah.
So you are
Facts.
miles ahead of those people who choose to look the other way when they see that they have, vices or impediments in their life, so that
Hmm.
they're going to be stuck there for a long time. I had a conversation with a gentleman not too long ago where, he's in his 60s
Hmm.
and he has been stuck in a place for the last like 30 years under circumstances that at the beginning may not have been his desire,
Hmm.
but he went with a decision that was made for him, and then he's stuck there for 30 years.
Oof.
So yeah, and when we talk about trying to be self-aware, man, anytime I get that inkling of something's not right, I start to dig into it, no matter how uncomfortable it is, because there's something that needs to go away, or at least
Hmm.
needs to be integrated, so that I understand, hey, I'm not perfect, but at least I know where I stand and can move accordingly. Don't
Yeah.
be stuck in a space for 30 years thinking, oh, this is all that there is, because it's not.
Oh
And then
yeah.
we're here to show you that.
Facts, man. Facts. And and it's a tool. It's a tool you could use that when you do find yourself, whether it be, 6 days or 6 months or 6 years down the line, you
Yeah.
can come back to this and be like, hey, okay, I know I'm good in this area. I'm good here, 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 and here. But in this
Right.
area, I'm lacking. I feel off. Like whether it be honor or it be compassion, is that, man, I
Yeah.
have not been compassionate to myself or other people as of late. Is that there's definitely
I
something
hear
going on.
you.
Let me dig back into this, and
Yeah.
see and tune things up. Is like, let me make those adjustments that I need to make so I can keep moving forward and progress. And these are just areas in your life where you're like, you can look at these areas and measure, like you said, having those measurables, having those, those action items where you can measure where you're at in these different areas, so that you can, like I said, have that set foundation for your life, whether it be in, like I said, life in general, or your relationships. It's a give you some advice on those things, in your career or your business. Having those areas that you can look at with those areas as well, and you
Yeah.
can build yourself up into the man you want to be, so that you can, when you find yourself off track, you have a way to bring yourself back into alignment.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely. And it's really all about that alignment. You know,
Hmm.
it's even though these are 8 different things that you can go through, it's really just about aligning your mind, body, and what you're trying to achieve in life. You
Hmm.
know, because it's either, like we always say, it's either the pain of regret or it's the pain of discipline.
Yeah, definitely. And and 2025 is definitely going to be about discipline. Me personally, is definitely going to be about discipline. And I think with 2025, um, I think the world is going to be definitely moving faster than we've seen it move before. It already has been,
Hmm.
but the world's going to be moving so fast that you're going to have to run to catch up. And if you find yourself lacking in these areas, it is going to reveal itself. Um,
Hmm.
it's one of those things that you're just not going to be able to just. People aren't just going to be able to just sit on their hands anymore.
Yeah.
You're either going to get up or get out the way. It's one of the two. Get up
Yeah.
and take action, or you're going to be left behind, bro. Period.
Yeah.
It's that we're not living in a world anymore where you can just sit by the wayside and just sit like a bump on a log and be that guy. Be that guy in the neighborhood sitting under the tree drinking wine. You're not going to be able to be that guy anymore. I think those days are starting to come to an end at this point.
Yeah.
Is that you're gonna
No.
the world is gonna show you very quickly that whatever it is that you need to do to get yourself where you want to go, you need to get on that now, because
Yeah.
the people who are on that, by the time you look up 5-10 years from now, they're gonna be so far ahead of you, bro, that you're not gonna be able to catch up. So far
Really,
ahead.
what it is you should have started yesterday.
And yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Hmm.
Because some people wait for that New Year, new me bullshit. Excuse my French, but that's not how I roll. That's not how we roll. Like I was
Hmm.
feeling this in October, and I
Yeah.
was on mission. I've been on
Hmm.
mission all year, even with my flaws. But I still feel like I should have been doing this 2 years ago. And there's
Yeah.
always going to be that feeling of, oh, I should have started this. I should have started that. I forget who said it, but there's a good quote that's like the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The
Hmm.
second best time to plant one is now.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So you really gotta plant those seeds within yourself because you are fertile soil. You know what I mean? As a man, you absorb whatever influences that you have around you, and it's up to you to cultivate that. So if you are lucky enough to have a power circle or somebody or a war bound, because that's the name of our community,
Yep. Warbound and the
you
Legion. Yep.
and yeah, with the war bound, you get in for free. You ain't
Yeah.
got to buy the course. It helps if you do, but if you want to just be around in a space where people are going to be able to support you and give you the game the same way that we were given during our experiences,
Yep.
then come to the Warbound. And if you want to learn how to supercharge and quantum leap those kind of things as well, join the
Hmm.
Legion. That is a paid service, but you will have direct access to us and the things that we're talking about, so that we'll be able to help you get on that path and know that it's okay. If you're starting now, the fact is that you're starting, because there's
Yeah.
millions of people who haven't and won't.
Hmm.
Don't be them.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it gets deep in that Legion, man. Talk getting really into those tactics of business or entrepreneurship, how to upgrade yourself in those areas, what it takes to get the promotion, or what it takes to start the business in detail, what it takes to make your first sale, or to improve your life, or to get
Mm-hmm.
into a successful relationship, how to work on yourself
Mm-hmm.
to get to the point where you want to be with that.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about combat and how to make yourself, not just not just a not a nice guy, but a good but dangerous man. Is
Right.
because every man should be, as honest as you should be capable of, as we say, the Buddha hand and the demon fist. You should be
Right.
capable of yes, feel the feelings. Be compassionate to the world. Show love and respect to those around you. Is like, but also be capable of delivering massive and absolute devastation when necessary, to be able to protect your family, those you care about, protect yourself. Not let people just walk all over you, to be a respectable, honorable, dangerous man.
I mean, like you said at the very beginning, man, if people are afraid of what a conqueror does,
Hmm.
the most important thing he needs to do is first conquer himself. If he wants to conquer the world, he needs to
Hmm.
conquer himself, which is, whatever your perspective is, if you can shift that, then you are better suited to move, externally, because you have that internal realm taken care of. And it's an ongoing process. It's never going to be done necessarily. But if you can get yourself in the best possible position to conquer whatever that external world is, if you because you've
Mm,
already done it on the inside. I tell you what, that's the hard part. Is it ain't this, it's
yeah.
this. You know what
Mm,
I mean? It's on
yeah.
the inside. Because I remember when I first started my journey, it's probably close to 10 years now. Probably 12. Who's counting? Um, I read this quote that was like, what was it? It's like it was having to do with like support, but it was basically like a man who can fix himself or heal himself by himself
Hmm.
is the most dangerous because he's not seeking anything external, which is hard to do, man. It's hard to ask for help for one, but
Hmm.
if you don't give yourself the chance to kind of work your way through your own issues, and
Yeah.
everybody has their own circumstances, but you should at least try. You should try to work on yourself by yourself because then you get to know yourself and hopefully you get to love yourself.
Hmm.
And when you move with a sense of internal love, everything on top of that is icing. Everything on
Yeah.
top of that is extra because you don't need that external validation like we talked about in the beginning. You don't need somebody to give you power. You have your power.
Yep.
You don't need somebody to give you purpose. You have your purpose. You don't
Hmm.
need validation from external sources because one, first of all, it's fleeting.
Yeah.
Anybody who people will only congratulate you or give you praise when you do something right, and when you do something wrong, it ain't the same.
Yes.
They'll find a way to blame you. So it's like, why would you even put validation in anybody else's opinion other than yours because you know it's fleeting and it's circumstantial.
Hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And like I said, these are key things, man, for 2025 that we got to get right. We got
Mhm.
to get right because if we're gonna be honest, man, um, we cannot afford to drop the ball on this.
No.
We as men cannot afford to drop the ball on this. So much has changed, just since we were kids. So much in life has changed that we're at the point where it's like we have to take back control and actually and get this shit back on course
Yeah.
because things get off the rail, and it's not necessarily a politics or a geopolitics, different things like that. That stuff's going to go on regardless. Sometimes the only thing you control is what goes on in your world. So if there's
Right.
chaos in your world, that's on you. If your world is beautiful and everything's going well, and life is great, and gravy is falling from the sky, that's on you too. Is that you build yourself into the man you want to be. Is like heaven and hell starts with you. Is that
Hmm.
you choose where you live.
Right.
It's like
Absolutely.
so guys hop in, and the big thing that kills me, man, is like hearing men hop onto social media complaining, hearing men hop onto TikTok and Instagram and these different things like that, whining and complaining about how unfair the world is, how the world's not
Hmm.
treating them fair, and da 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 da. Dude, the world doesn't owe you anything. The world doesn't owe you understanding. The world does not
Right.
owe you understanding. Is like, oh, they don't respect me. Maybe you need to become the man that the world can respect.
Hmm.
Don't
Yes, sir.
ask don't ask the world to respect you. Don't ask somebody, friend, family member, girlfriend, wife, whatever. Don't ask somebody to respect you. Act like a respectable man, and the world will be forced to respect you. But you got to
Man,
respect yourself first.
I love it. One term that like really jumped out to me this year because of how I've been trying to move
Mm.
is that you need to be an invasive species, man. Take it how
Mm.
you want, but you need to be an invasive species. You need to be able to move into an environment that is not your own
Yeah.
and make it your own, whether it's a
Mm-hmm.
job, whether it's, taking up space wherever you're trying to be. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? If you're trying to move forward, nobody's gonna say, "Come on, sir, here's the red carpet. You
Yeah.
walk on in and you tell us how you want things to be run." That's
Breaking
not
into a new
that's not how
industry,
it
it's like, oh
works.
yeah, sir, competition. Yeah, come on down. Here's how we do everything. Here's how you become successful. He's like, we'll
Exactly.
have
You
we'll have a
have
nice
to
fair fight. There's not gonna be a fair. There's no fair fight in life. There's no fair
never,
fight in life.
never. So you have to figure out what it's like to move without restraint to a certain
Yeah.
extent. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? And this is how you do it. If you want to learn how to be an invasive species, if you want to learn how to be an honorable warrior and an honorable man, come to death row.
Oh my.
come to, come to the Warriors way. I know. I can't.
You went all Suge Knight on us. Okay.
I did.
Hey, at least you're not being Diddy. Can't stop, won't
Right,
stop.
yeah. But yeah, man, it's come join us at the Warriors Way Home. Check out the War Band, or I'm sorry, our War Bound community. Again, it's free. We do suggest to buy the course. The first two lessons are free right now, which we'll put in the link in the description.
Yep.
But if you join the War Bound, you are already doing way better than anybody else who decides to sit on the sidelines and not move in their life. 2025 is not, we already seen everything that's going on in the news and just life in general, man. It's not gonna get easier. So you might as well, if you feel like the world is against you, you might as well be on your own side and make the proper steps to make progress so that you are in a comfortable position to watch the world burn, because it's not going to get easier.
Yeah, it's not going to get easier, but we can definitely get tougher and more skilled to deal with the world. Is that you might not be able to change the world, but you can definitely change how you move in the world. It's like, okay, you got to be able to adapt to your environment, man. This is, Evan and I have had the conversation about, being able to pivot. Is that you have to be adaptable in this world. If tomorrow they decided that dollars were not a thing anymore, and they were, we were going to start using bottle caps for money now, is like, man, I'll be the damn king. I'd be diving in dumpsters and everything like that. I'd be king of damn bottle caps. Is it because I'm just gonna adapt. It's like we're just going to adapt. It's like we're gonna change. So I'm not gonna sit here and be like, but my money though is like, well, that's not a thing anymore. But
what money?
But you said it was. It's I'm not gonna consider and complain about it. It's like, okay, this is how we're moving. This is how we're playing. Like I said, hey, life isn't fair. Get a helmet, bro. Let's go. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. You need you want to cry, get a tissue. Just keep moving while you're doing it. I used to say something when I was doing my group classes, like, if you gotta yell, if you gotta scream, but don't you quit. Because I don't care what you gotta do. You gotta cuss, you can say, you can call me any kind of names. Don't you stop moving though.
Right.
Keep those feet moving. Keep it moving.
Right.
Keep growing. Keep becoming. Stay dangerous, my friends.
Nah, for sure, man. It's just what it's all about. Staying dangerous and staying humble and understanding there's always going to be a bigger threat than you, but that doesn't mean that you're not a threat. You know what I mean? And it's not even just being a threat to somebody else physically. It's being a threat in the workplace. It's being a threat to your own vices.
I don't suggest threatening workplaces. That's more of an admin thing there.
Yeah, I guess it's true. Being like some people like to say in corporate, if you know enough to be dangerous, which means that if you move into like a new position, or you're just trying to get around whatever the office is, whatever the environment is, enough about enough things, a little about enough things to be like, oh, I can go to you for this, and if I can't go to you, I know somebody else who can. You know what I mean? So
for sure.
Yeah, it's having options, man. It's all about having options.
Yeah, at the end of the day, man, it's just it's learning how to fight your fight. It's what we say all the time, because everybody's fight is going to be different. My fight is going to be different than Edmund's fight. He may not have the same struggles that I have. I might not have some of the same advantages that he has. It's going to be about you becoming the best version of you. And in order to do that, man, you gotta keep learning. You gotta keep growing. We've gotten in. We're in the power circle, like we talk about so much. Is like that has been transformational for the both of us. I could definitely tell you that for sure. I got into it. I was like, and we can get into it for different reasons. I got into it because I was like, hey man, I got to be around more masculine men who are moving in a certain direction, man. It's like I just in the industry I'm in with massage and everything and training, is like I tend to be around a lot of women. I was like, dude, I gotta get around some guys who are like about it. It's like, because it's like I know I need that. It's like, because that's more of my mentality, and I'm not getting that fed right. That part of me fed right now. They're great people and everything like that, but it's not. I don't get that. I wasn't getting that raw. And we went from there, and now we're in exit strategies with Soul Immortal, talking about, building online businesses and different things like that. Digging into that helped us with our course. Shout out to Soul, from the Power Circle and Exit Strategies. Definitely been a mentor to both of us on this whole thing. So it's finding the people who have done the thing that you want to do, who are at least going the place that you want to go. And sometimes, man, it's just tagging along, bro. Honestly, it's just, hey, man, it's like, hey, I need to be around. I need to sit. I need to learn, and I just need to keep it moving.
For sure. So, man, it's been super powerful. I would just say to wrap up, don't feel as if because you aren't around the type of people that you need to be around, that you're out of the loop. Because just because they're not face to face doesn't mean that they're not waiting for you as well. You know what I'm saying? Jump into an online community. Find, if you need to have somebody there with you to kind of hold your hand through the process, then find those people. But
Yeah,
doing nothing is not going to get anything done.
it's not an
You know what I
option
mean?
anymore. It's not an
It's not
option
an
anymore.
option, bro.
Doing nothing is
It's not
not
an
an option
option.
anymore. Because
Yep.
you're either
So,
growing or you're degrading, man. That's period. That's
mhm.
point blank period. You're either growing or you're degrading. And we
Yeah,
don't want to be having you don't want to be having the same conversations at the end of 2025 as you were at the end of 2024.
facts.
So you don't go into 2025 and come out of it the same man. Don't do that to
Mhm.
yourself. Be a better version of yourself. Are you going to be the ideal perfect version of yourself? No. It's like perfection is a constant chase. But
Mhm.
also don't stay stagnant and stay that same guy with the same problems, talking about the same things. Don't be that dude, because we will talk about you on the channel.
For sure, for sure.
But man, but yeah,
But yeah,
to close up, guys. Edmund, why don't you tell them where they can find us, man? Other than here on YouTube.
absolutely. So you can find us on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, of course, Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook. Anywhere you type in Warriors Way Home, you will find us. Please make sure to check out our, like I said, the first two lessons of the Eight Inner Gates is going to be linked to the description below.
Hmm.
Also, make sure to check out our At the Feet of Masters playlist that we are constantly growing.
Definitely.
We just had
Hmm.
a couple of episodes. We were able to film two new episodes over the past 2 weeks. Just and that's about if you ain't got nobody to talk to, come check out our interviews because we're sitting down with martial arts masters or people who have been on this journey for so long. You want the
Hmm.
game, check out the playlist. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's not all about martial arts, it's about the mentality, self-respect, integrity, growing, all those things that we talk about
Hmm.
within yourself. And maybe it'll inspire you to check out, a gym or something like that. But make
Yeah.
sure that you're going to the right place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
um yeah, you can find us anywhere where podcasts are. Video podcasts, of course, here on YouTube. Check out our course. And yeah,
Yeah,
I
man.
think that's about it.
And we'll see you guys real soon, man. Like I said, we're gonna keep pushing, man. We're gonna keep pushing. This isn't gonna stop for us. So,
Mhm.
if you wanna hop in with us, tap in with us. That's great. If you want to keep watching us, man, like you said, we're gonna keep tapping in with people with men who are moving, who are making moves, taking action, growing as people who have come from places that some of us may not even come from, who have lived harder lives than some of us may have lived, or can help you from having to live a hard life because they've already lived it and coming and delivering that knowledge to us so that we can all grow, move forward. Because at the end of the day, man, you much rather be a warrior in a garden.
Garden and the War. Check you
Take it
guys
easy,
next
guys.
time.
See you guys later. Check out the description. We'll have the link to the two free lessons in the course. We'll also have the link to the Warbound in the description. So tap in with us, check us out. All right, and we'll see you guys later.